Day 7 is complete, and we have much to discuss, much to look at. I don't want to say heavy is the head that wears a crown because my head is quite light these days. But I'm not going there, Diddy. I'm not going there. But AFCON continues to surprise. AFCON continues to be the fun, chaotic tournament that it is. But quickly this morning, I woke up and I was just like, "Oh, what's going on with the Asia Cup?" And I saw what
hmm
was it? Iraq beating Japan 2-0 in the 70th minute. I was like, "Oh, so they wanted chaos as well." So, guys, there is plenty of football happening everywhere. The beautiful thing is, you could literally go all day and watch games from morning till night, especially here on the Western Hemisphere or the Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere. I don't know my directions today, but it is fun. There's football everywhere. And I, for one, I'm very much excited to continue to talk about it. JD, we are here. Day 7 of AFCON is complete. How are you doing today? And more importantly, are you not entertained with just I call it the chaoticness of African football, where what you thought you knew last week, you no longer know today?
as what I've said, thanks for having me yet again. Smash a like button, share, and subscribe, guys. I think this is going to grow into a nice program because we're definitely enjoying the football, and I just love that we just had all football, to talk on, and I do appreciate it. I do believe that the African teams are improving leaps and bounds, and I think this is exactly what FIFA wanted because majority of the years you had the Brazil, France, Nigeria, Germany. Those are the teams that keep repeating the World Cup. So now you can have the Irans and pulling off a little upset here and there. You have the Morocco going on a great run right there. So it's good now. It's good. So you can get more people interested in football, and that is the main interest at this point. And I kind of like it. I hope they can even donate more funding, or more players can start leaving Africa, big name players and our big value players, so it can go back to those infrastructures to really boost it. But based on what we saw some quality football, and I love it. I love it, and I think all of these teams stay with the best players them, because the best players them making the tournament entertaining. All right, so Cameroon, I'm talking you. Yes.
So Cameroon definitely are showing well. I don't think they're the same iteration that they were 2 years ago, but Cameroon definitely is playing well. So again, as every day we come here, guys, we talk about what we saw, we talk about the results that came through, and we're going to get into this right here because we have a little bit more clarity when it comes down to our first two groups and really our first three groups. But the three games we had today, we had Cape Verde versus Mozambique. We had Senegal versus Cameroon, and we had Guinea versus the Gambia. And those really now start to give shape to Group B and Group C moving forward, though we know a little bit with Group A what happens and how that's kind of working its way through. So when we look at, just to give a quick recap for Group A, Equatorial Guinea and the Ivory Coast are there. The only team that is officially eliminated apparently is Guinea-Bissau. So everyone in Group A are now playing for those top three spots. And we talked about, Group A is going to be playing the runner-ups.
Uh,
Will be playing.
and would you say Guinea-Bissau is relegated, based on the goal difference you're looking at it as? Because they can still go on a possible three, and then what they could turn out to be one of the best third place team. Because if you look at it, Egypt drew two games, so they are on two
Okay.
points. You understand me?
Yeah.
And they are
Mhm.
going to face a tough team in the end. So that in itself could lead them on 2 points or 3 points. You understand?
They.
With
I
three
understand.
draws.
Mhm. I think they
Yes.
would need a large win because it's the goal difference that's just
Yes.
really holding them back, right?
Oh, okay, that's
Guinea-Bissau is at a
okay.
-4, so it's not just winning, because even if they win, they're at -3 if it's a one-goal game. So they would have to need a big win just to move off of some of these. Because let's look at where these third place teams are. Yes, the worst third place team right now is Cameroon in terms of goal difference. Tunisia hasn't played their second game yet. Neither have Zambia or Algeria. So goal difference will play a role. And that's why I think when we talked about Ghana yesterday, the win would have served them so much better. But at least with the draw, they're only at -1. Ivory Coast looks the best, and they're probably going to move forward just based off of where they are. But I think ultimately goal differences matter. And I think because they went down so many goals, they're playing Nigeria in their last game. That is not an
Yes, yes.
task, right? Nigeria will have opportunities. Now, maybe they will get some opportunities coming against the teams moving forward, but I think they still would need a big result. And I don't know if they'll be able to do it versus Nigeria. So emotionally, spiritually, they are eliminated, even though technically, mathematically, they are still alive. It is a big ask
Yes.
for them. So those top three teams are playing now for the right to not have to play the winner of Group C. And I think that's where it'll be interesting moving forward there. Now, when we go to Group B, we saw some clarity, and we have to give credence to Cape Verde, who, after winning their second game, 3-0 over Mozambique, they are the first team that have qualified for the round of 16. And I've said this. I said this last World Cup, JD. Cape Verde is my don't sleep on team. And at the last AFCON, they weren't able to come through. And here, you see them come through in a good way. They've looked good against Ghana. Fortunate to get here. Here against Mozambique. Look, Bebe's long range free kick goal. I have questions about the goalkeeper Mozambique, but hey, that's a beautiful goal from that distance. Ryan Mendes doing his thing, Pina doing his thing as well. So Cape Verde really showing that they're there, and I'm even comfortable to say they'll probably get a result against Egypt. Just a little bit of playing styles, even though Egypt will
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit more desperate. Egypt can't afford to lose because right now, worst case scenario, a draw should get them at least into the top three positions. Because Ghana would need to win. A draw doesn't help Ghana. Ghana's playing Mozambique next, so we have a little bit more clarity in terms of that. But when it comes to Cape Verde, what has impressed you about them and how they've played so far?
I think it's based on their organization, and these teams have always done well. You know what Cape
Mm-hmm.
Verde remind me of? They remind me of, um, I wouldn't say in its entirety, but in the defensive department, they
Mm-hmm.
remind me of Jamaica. The
Mm.
attitude, the Jamaica female team, I'm not talking the men's
Okay.
team, I'm talking
Okay.
female team. How they usually played before the Donaldson came in, they
Mm-hmm.
figured out that okay, we're not better than these guys at this point, so we know
Mm-hmm.
where we are in our development, and at this point in our development we can defend well, we can progress the ball properly, but we can't do it in a high block. We can't start from the midfield third. We have to
Mm-hmm.
start with the defensive third majority of the time. We're not going to press high. We're not going to start high. But once we build up in our phases, we will take the risk up there with all 10 players, I would say. And that's what I like, the organization from the back, from them. That's what I like more than anything else. And at this point, the luck is going their way. Majority of their interception in the attacking third and the counters, they have kept shape well and don't have the drop back and get out of shape. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
that is because they have not faced one of the teams them that I do like a Senegal with the extreme speed and power, and the Nigeria with extreme speed and power. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to wait until that time because those guys don't have to naturally break the entire line to break your back line. Nigeria can just bully a back line with the
Mm-hmm.
strength of the players them, and they still have the speed to go past you. So they have challenging times, but based on what I saw from them, I like the organization.
And I think that's good. I think watching them, you see them as a team that is very comfortable, especially with their ball progression. I saw them against Mozambique just quickly get into that transition, getting the ball moving, and that's something that you saw traces of, especially last and they're qualifying for last AFCON. And that's why I like how they play a little bit more. It's a nice team that's been together long enough. They've had big names. I know Ryan Mendes has been a name that's been around Cape Verde for a while. For those, if you don't know, now you know. This man has balls. He was at the same club where who is it? I think it was he was at the same club with Mahrez, but then Leicester bought Mahrez and not him. So he's grown up with good quality, and there's no doubt that the quality of the player that he is. But just to see him score the screamer that he did, and then just their midfield play up to their forward line, I like the transitions that they've been able to have. They're a team that right now is playing with confidence. And you can't ask for any more than that where they are. Now, when we get to the round of 16, will they be able to then
Hmm.
translate that against some of the better teams. We'll have to find out and wait and see.
It's
But right
going to
now,
be tough, but it's
right
possible.
right now I have them winning, topping their group, which means as I'll scroll down, Group B winner would play the runner up plays the runner up of Group F. Therefore, the winner plays the runner up of Group E. Actually, they're right here. They would play the third place team of either A, C, or D,
A
whichever is
D,
left. So
okay.
A, C, or D,
We,
third place is right now is either Ivory Coast, Algeria, or Cameroon. Oh, those are
okay.
tasty matchups.
Yeah,
If you
yeah, because
if
the tough
mhm,
start at the tough start at the start of the tournament.
mhm.
I do believe lead this into the third spot don't really means much, because
No,
quality teams ending up coming third.
yep, and that's where maybe you want to finish. Maybe the runner-up spot is the spot you want to aim for, just because you may get a surprise team. Right, running into this, people figured, oh, this is going to be Egypt. This is Egypt's spot, so they'll come and play. Egypt, outside of two mental mistakes, really three mental mistakes, have got them two draws because the penalty against Mozambique in the 95th minute, and then a
Yeah,
back pass by Williams, and then Bukhari thinking he's still going, he just wants to score the same way that Kadu scored in the first half. You take those away, they're three mental mistakes away from having no points. Now, what's scary about Egypt is that they still, the quality that they have, and when their big players have to step up, they can. They'll probably not have Salah, but still, you see that the talent that is there. So Egypt may not be a team that you want to count out, but Cape Verde is a team that's playing well, and maybe they just run into a buzzsaw. Maybe they get the Algeria team that was buzzing for the first 30 minutes against Angola, and then it's just 3-0 as you're blinking, and then the game is done. We don't know. But this is AFCON and how they're playing. I love the energy that they're playing with. I love how they're progressing the ball. They aren't the story for this tournament for me so far because, again, I predict them to finish second. So Cape Verde being in first is a little bit less surprising to me. I'm surprised they're in first because I figured maybe Egypt runs with this group and then Ghana falters
yeah.
as they kind of have. So Cape Verde is where I have them, and I mean it really does set up very interestingly when we move into. We'll talk about this next week when we get into World Cup qualifiers and things like that. How teams are going to take that form and start to build off of
Yep.
that. But
Agreed,
Cape
agreed.
Verde is definitely a team that we are looking at will be interesting. So Cape Verde is the first team to qualify for the round of 16, which makes them look very good moving in. And then we had Group C matchups where we had Senegal beating Cameroon 3-1. I didn't put an emphasis on the B there. It wasn't intentional, JD. But they were able to beat Cameroon. They beat them. No. All kidding aside. 3-1. A good game
Cameroon,
overall.
okay,
Yeah.
decent, but they did get beaten, and Senegal proved to me that they are back, and they answered a lot of persons' fear of the
Mm-hmm.
curse of winning it and trying to repeat, because in a long while they haven't been anyone repeating nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I told the last time one of my friends came on my channel, and I said to him, I don't think that's the right way to evaluate it. You can't just say because no one did back to back simple means no one can. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
It's based on the form that you come in, the quality of the players them that you do have, and the system that you're playing. You get me? And they've kept their same system with
Mm-hmm.
quality players. All right,
That's
quality
true.
quality players in the region. And based on what I'm seeing, today their true threat was should have been Cameroon, and I thought that they fully deserved to win the game. You
Mm-hmm.
understand me? So they are looking lively, and I do believe that they have took the top spot from Morocco again. All right, so Morocco has to come out and show themselves again for me to evaluate them, because it's two games, and they,
Mm-hmm.
they can only beat who is in front of them, and they did a very very good job defeating who is in front of them. So big ups
Mm-hmm.
to Senegal. Looking like they're going to be maybe one of the best, the biggest favorites, and clearly they are defending champions, so they need their crown and they're coming back for it.
Yeah. And I think when I look at that game, to me, the big difference is yes, you had a little bit more of the edge of possession for Cameroon. Senegal just buried their chances much better here, right? You saw Sarr put a chance away. You saw it was Diallo with the second goal, who got his, yeah, got the second goal. And Cameroon had opportunities. Like you said, they didn't play terribly. The 3-1 indicator is maybe a little bit, well, this it's not necessarily harsh. It's not like this was like 5-1, but it was just a game where Cameroon was playing the crossbar challenge and they just couldn't hit anything. But just shots on frame was something Cameroon was struggling with. And you notice that it's like, okay, they needed a player to come through. And now I wonder if they are regretting not bringing in a player like Choupo-Moting, who is at Bayern, who probably could have been a better nine, or at least a target nine for this group to really open things up. They chose not to go with them. That's a choice of the federation and the coach. But based
I
off of
talked about them, because they're similar
mhm,
to Jamaica. You have to remember, they have this belief of, oh, they need to bring in everyone that was born in Cameroon and stay in Cameroon and play in Cameroon. They have
mhm,
that belief. Yes,
mhm.
that's what I'm hearing. So I hope that's not the case. Yeah.
No, it's and like I can go on. I'll go on a quick tangent on this. I always love the conversation when it's like, and again, these are words that you are very familiar with, JD. When people say, "Oh, we want players who are committed. We want players who will come," and my retort is always, "Well, why aren't they coming?" Right? Why is it that they're choosing not to come? Can we have that
Mm-hmm.
conversation? Because it's one thing to open your door, but is your house in order? Right? And
Yes,
we I could
facts,
go on
facts.
a diatribe in terms of all things on African federations and just the mishaps and just the pure insanity of choices that they've made from choice A to choice B to choice C, from coaches who were fired 3 years ago who still haven't been paid the remainder of their contract, but because they just moved on, from players who are only pushed in from like we could go on. But I always find it interesting when the conversation is we want this, and I'm like, okay, but why don't they want this? There's a reason. And until we figure out and answer that reason, you can have conversations where it's like, okay, Onana leaves the team. Onana's back with the team. No one wants to talk about it. Okay, cool. Joe Matip is a special one. Okay, maybe he was, but look at his experience with the team, and then it comes back, and then now you tell me if you want to be part of it. It's always interesting. I'll cut that rant short because I always find it funny whenever they have the conversations because it's always one sided. I made this analogy on a podcast and it was like, yeah, everyone wants you to choose them, but we don't talk about how we haven't paid our light bill, the water has been turned off, we haven't cleaned the deck or anything, but we should have the barbecue, we should have the cookout at our house because you should want to come here. It's like no, there's things to clean up. So
Yep, give me
there's
something to work with. I can't
mhm.
just come there because you want me and you cry
Mhm,
wolf to come there. Totally get you, man. Totally get you. But
mhm,
I think they are in shambles, Cameroon, at this point. They could have been a much a bit better team with their selection as well. So I just hope
mhm,
they do the right thing and put the right players in and just have the right attitude. I'm not
mhm,
gonna call out the coach and their mentality, but they need to work on it. To be honest, yeah.
mhm. So we have Senegal going up 2. They also have moved on to the next round with 2 wins. You're not gonna not go through. Again, I said this
Yes, I,
yesterday.
I think they are through secure
Mhm,
more than anyone else for me.
mhm. Right, and then we had Guinea beating the Gambia, Camaro in the 69th minute, a goal, and Guinea is in second. I expected them to be in second. They are in second, so it's not too surprising for me. Gambia is playing up the fight that I expected them to, but I think there was just more quality. And I think the problem with a team like Gambia for me, it's I'm waiting for someone not named Musa Barrow to be a little bit more consistent. And yes,
True, true.
right, and like because not to say that everything has to run through him, but to me, it's okay. Who is your best player? How are you going to feed them? Right. I always like the example if you look at Poland in England, right, or in Europe, right. Lewandowski is a great player, but he's very dependent on the ball getting to him. Musabero is a winger, so you'll get more
Yes,
balls in more advantageous spots. But now
yes.
it's can you make the right choice? Can you do things, or are you putting yourself in a position where you can now create for more of the players and just have a few more players you can go through? Now, my my comment always with um, some African teams, it's okay, put the right players around, get players who don't know any better, and just go through. And we talked about Gambia a little bit, where we said maybe they should have used this tournament to get some of those young kids in,
Mm-hmm.
because there's two ways, and I'll use Canada as an example because I'm in Canada here, right? When we saw the Gold Cup, right? Canada's result, if you had got Canada's results, but they had transitioned the team fully at the Gold Cup,
Mm-hmm.
and it was young players and players that were on the fringe that you want to see, and you were actually giving them run, I would have felt much better. But what ended up happening was it was the same group. And yes, this group is still growing. There's no doubt. There's a nice ceiling for the Gambia. But in this type of situation, when you're looking at your results, if you get these with young players now with this experience under their belt, now when they're entering the high pressure situations of World Cup qualifiers, the stage isn't too big for them. The lights aren't too bright for them. An opportunity now, instead of this feeling like the biggest game on a Friday evening, this is just a Tuesday afternoon with your club and you're just going to go out and perform. I think those experience aspects matter. When you look at Guinea, get the Gambia, looking at this group, see what are some of the things that stand out for you looking at them?
This group, I think this group is over. Gambia let me down. You know, they still have a final shot. Still, they still have a final shot. As you saw,
Mhm.
Cameroon is there for the taking now. But I think Cameroon will feel good going into the final game. To be honest, they will believe that they can beat Gambia. You know, or even a draw. A draw wouldn't send them through automatical, because that
Mhm.
would be one of the lowest number in the third spot. Because remember already, Egypt is on 2 points. You understand me? So if Egypt gets anything, they're over that amount. That amount in the third spot. So for me, I like Gambia. I agree with you. Bardo would definitely be the one supplying them. And obviously in the last game I saw that he had supply. No, he had help from the opposite wing. But I think you would need more of a deadly striker. You need more than one outlets
Mhm.
in this level of football. And that's why I'd say that, because I know that you don't naturally have the outlets, what I would have done is to use this to bring through the strikers them, because you actually are
Mhm.
the strikers them. They are younger, but use this to bring them through and give them their
Yeah.
game time and bring through the defensive central. I do believe that 3 or 4 players from the U20s could have came up and did a good job. And you could see something from here. But after this, you're looking, okay, we failed. But what have we actually acquired right here? You know, it still is a standstill, or maybe what they have acquired is that they're not good enough and they need to tap into the market of the younger players that they do have. So maybe it took something like this for them to reset and go with what they, because some, as what you just said, Cameroon is a very stubborn team, a stubborn set of like the for administration. So maybe you have to prove it the hard way. So just like Jamaica, they had to get battered when they try to go for the local time. You understand me? And then you have to go for those guys, because now you have the statistical report. But if it doesn't come, you can't convince these people because they believe that they're already great. You know, and I've realized that it's it looks like it's just our type of thing to believe that we are already great until the result can't go our way. Then we seek the help. So maybe that's the situation for Gambia at this point. But I do believe that they're gonna come good. Just the same, it's gonna maybe take 4 years.
It might, and I think maybe they're a team that's maybe not this cycle, but maybe next cycle they start to put it together. But then now you're losing one of your better players. Barrow's going up in age. Like I was just looking at their transfer market for the squad they would have brought up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a group that should be closer to its prime than anything. Um,
Yes, yes, that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
seeing, yeah, and I'm seeing unfortunately a few members of unattached FC, which is unfortunate. But hey, you do what you have to do with
And
that.
you
But
have U20s that has club and playing football, but yet still don't get the call.
yeah, right? Feyenoord, you have Yankuba Minte who's playing at Feyenoord, and I'm like, I'm not saying just because he's 19, he has a big number by him. I
Mm-hmm.
expect more from him, but get him some more runs, see what he can do, and kind of start to build a little bit. Because as a player like him, who is a right winger, and I think he's someone that you hope
And
ultimately.
Boyan, you would have brought up Boyan straight
Yes,
into the team.
definitely would have brought
Yes,
Boy on. Yeah.
just put him there, and that kid would give you some production, regardless of
Hmm.
maybe he would have been slightly weaker for the role, but
Hmm.
he would have given you that extra power and pace that might have gotten you some penalties or something, because Barrow is
Hmm.
very rapid. So him and Barrow there would have had something good, and you had a lot more that could have added to it. A lot more quality players that could have added things to the
Hmm.
Gambia team. So that only
Hmm.
goes to show you the depth in Africa with these countries, man. Gambia, um, I'm gonna keep on watching them, because
Yeah.
when I do set my sights on these teams, they do get good. So Gambia is my next target. You know.
No, I agree, and I think Gambia definitely is going to continue to grow. He played 83 minutes against Senegal, but then didn't feature against Guinea. Probably a stronger team. You were trying to hit more on the counter versus Senegal and that aspect. So, and that's fine. I don't find any issues with it. But you have these opportunities, and they're not fully out of it. Third place is their ceiling right now. But it'd be
Mm-hmm.
great if, even worst case scenario, if they don't make it, they at least give at least 150 minutes to some of these young players just to get their feet wet, get them going. You get this every 2 years, which is nice, but ultimately now you're getting into qualification. So now finding these players, and what's exciting about this is you saw what the Gambia did at the U20 level. So you know that there's talent coming there. The problem now is when you leave the youth level to the national team level, now you're looking at the conversation where it's you're not just trying to beat the next 30 or so 19, 18, 17-year olds. Now you're playing with everyone who has a smidge of Gambian blood in them who are fighting for that opportunity. So now they have to the grind works a little bit more and you have to stand out. Now a federation can decide, hey, we want to prioritize these players, get them onto the pitch because this is our future. You could do that, but the pool gets a lot wider and deeper. So to stand out, you have to work a little harder, and I think they can do it. I'm excited to see what they can, but I know you wanna bite back on a little bit of that. So I'll let you do
No,
that.
yeah, because Boyan is actually at Stade Reims, and
Hmm.
he's getting game time. He's actually
Yeah.
getting game time, so that is definitely good. Two appearances, just substitutions to come in. And also he got in the Coupe de France, he got
Hmm.
some game time right there. So they have already started to inject him. So if he can play in League One, why
Hmm.
would you not give him a chance in so for me they had Sanyang, him, to come in. You had three players that could have came straight into this team and don't look out of place at all for me. So I
Hmm.
do believe that they messed up with crying these guys over. They had everything. You said that the guys on the list that were at no club FC, and you have these
Hmm.
guys are actually playing at legitimate top five leagues and can't make the team, which is ridiculous. I really would like to hear how they decided how these guys make these teams, and that would be amazing.
Maybe it is a conversation we have to get some Gambians onto this and talk about it because I know
Hmm.
there's one Gambian channel I've been watching. I think they were doing a watch along as well, and the conversation is interesting and intriguing. But it sounds after a while, it all sounds very similar. Where it's like, oh, it's just this, but with another flag. Oh, it's just Ghana with a different flag, or it's just Jamaica, but it's closer to a river. And it's like, so you listen to that, you're like, okay, some of this is similar, some of this is different, but you move on and you have those conversations, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
But
uh,
so when it comes to those two, we now have again a better viewing for group A, B, and C. You have matchups that are again, they're gonna do dual matchups so that no one tries to fix a match one way or the other. So that
yes,
works
yes.
in that way.
That is
So
very good, very good.
I'm glad they've learned from that and moving on. But tomorrow we have some interesting matchups. Algeria versus Burkina Faso and Mauritania versus Angola. And then you also have Tunisia versus Mali. That to me, Tunisia versus Mali, that is I think that's the game of the day tomorrow because Tunisia
Hmm.
need to have they need a result here, and Mali could put away Tunisia in a way that they would be pressed to get a result. And I think Mali can do it. I'm not sure if they will, but I think they can. Guys, also thank you for those of you who have been here. We've seen the numbers consistently. So if you see or something you want to give a comment on, you agree with us, you disagree with us, put that into the comments down below. Let us know. But we're down to predictions for our games coming tomorrow. So we have Group D playing, and then one fixture for Group E. Let's go back to Group D just to give everyone a recap. Burkina Faso defeated Mauritania. Again, I think they escaped that game. Penalty in the 95th, 93rd minute, and they get the result. And then Algeria started off blazing and then cooled off, and then Angola gets the equalizer, and then they hold on and survive. On paper, this should have been Algeria's group, and maybe they end up finishing with this, with the result. But Burkina Faso is the team that they'll have to displace and dethrone to get here. When you're looking at that matchup, JD, what's something that you're intrigued to see one way or the
I,
other for
I
one
can't
side?
wait to see that game because after seeing that game, if I do get an outright winner like a 3-0 from one of these teams, they got to be on the top of the best performers. If Algeria can pop up a 3-0 over Burkina Faso, I think that would have been a good win. And if Burkina Faso does the same, that would have been a statement victory. And you have to put them in the talks of one of the teams that you have to look out for. So, but let's see. But I think it's going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be maybe like a 2-1. I do see both teams on the score sheet. I still go with Algeria. I just believe that Algeria actually overlook their opponent in the first game. I actually believe so. And when you do so, when you get on the pitch, it's hard for you to get up to the speed. Whilst the other guy is already there saying that this is my opportunity and I'm going to keep taking it. So that's what I saw with Algeria. And I do believe that they should return with a better display, a much more understandable, much more control, and pick their moments in the heat of the battle. And I'm going to stick with Algeria. I'm not going to lose all my bets in one first group stage.
I'm intrigued by this matchup. I wonder if Algeria wants to heavily rotate this game. There are a lot of yellows that they're sitting on, which is something which is interesting. They have 4 yellows from their
Yeah.
Atal,
But
Menesbani,
but they
Ben
have
Taleb, and
Mauritania
Benaker.
in the last game. So better I do pick up the yellow cards and from now and miss that
And
game
that's
so I
true.
can yeah. So I'm gonna pop my team up with the best players, and this is a team that I wanted to go against. So yes, everyone playing. We have to get suspended for the last game.
Yep. Secure the points and then worry about and hope that your depth can go through and get that result. I think Algeria on paper, they look a little bit better. I do like what I saw from Burkina Faso. So I don't know why this is the score line of my entire AFCON, but I'm going to go with, because I think there will be goals here. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's definitely going to be goals here. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think
2-2.
Algeria, yeah, 2-2 draw. Algeria has shown they can score goals in bunches. I mean, they were all called off, but they can score. They've seen the ball go into the net, and then VAR and offside said, not this time. So I think they have the ability to do it. And I think Burkina Faso will be a little bit better and a little bit more clinical. The problem is now Algeria to Burkina Faso, Algeria can be a little bit more pragmatic in how they want to attack. So whether they want to sit back or just say, you know what, we can control the midfield and go there, not to discredit what Burkina Faso can do. So I think a 2-2 draw looks like a good quality result for this game. If you push me to give a result, I would probably lean towards Algeria because I think they need the result more than it's similar to Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, right? Nigeria needs the win more than Cote d'Ivoire needed the win. It would have been great for them,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that level of let's secure the 3 points and put ourselves in a better position so we don't need to worry about that works out a little bit better for them. So I think Algeria probably pushes through, but I think the result here is a 2-2 draw moving forward. Mahrez
All
finally
right,
gets on the
fair
board
enough.
for Algeria here. And Traore, I'm going to go with a brace from Traore. I'm going to go very specific because why
Okay.
not?
Traore and Mahrez. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Like that, I like that. But I think Mauritania will be the team that gets beat up in this. They are going to lose to almost everyone. I think
Yeah.
Angola will get the victory over them as well. I'm not saying they are a super bad team, but you can see that maybe they are not up to speed as the other teams. And if
Hmm.
Burkina Faso had them in the second game, they would have gotten way more. They would have gotten 5 or 4 from
Yeah.
them. So I do respect it. I do respect it. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's fair, and I think that's probably where it is. So then you have again Angola versus Mauritania. I think Angola should take this, but my West African bias will say, What the Mauritanians, give them some
No,
love, even though
they
Angola is there. No,
they ain't getting no point. All right, they are gonna
I'm
fight
gonna go.
hard.
I'm gonna go
But
with a 3-1 Angola win. I think Mauritania gets on the board because they've shown they could create if they needed to. But I think ultimately Angola gets through here with a 2-1 win, a 2-1 win.
yes, I will agree with you. I will agree with you. Angola taking it, but that put Angola, that would have put Angola on 4 points.
Hmm.
So that would have put, yeah. I want to see how this group works out, because this game between Burkina Faso and Algeria is a big game then. Because if Algeria
Indeed,
fail,
it
any
is.
one of them, if Algeria fail to pick up all 3 points, it's gonna put them under heavy pressure. Because no, or if they lose the game, you will have Angola going into this one feeling confident, because they could put themselves on 4 points and then try
Yes.
their final day to get themselves on a point, because maybe Burkina Faso saw that they are already on 6 and maybe can say, okay, if do get a draw, I finish on 7, so I'm gonna win the game regardless. You understand me? And then that's about it. So I think this game will decide the group, or people approach it in the last game, because I do believe that if they do win it against Algeria, I think that they can actually start to rotate players on yellow and those stuffs
Hmm.
to go
And I
in the
think,
final
yeah,
game. Yeah.
and ultimately that opens it up for them. So yep. So we have our results for those, and then,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, the game of the day for me and maybe a few other people, not to diminish, Tunisia versus Mali. Ah Mali, Namibia doing what they did is very interesting. I want to give them more credit. They are the surprise for me of this tournament. I didn't expect them, and my mentions will continue to go with every Namibian be like, "You were wrong about them." Like, I know, I know,
Well, it's
but
not you alone wrong, if that helps, I got a few wrong this time around, but
yeah.
I am ready to take back my win streak, so I'm running out strong, for what that from the other day. It was
Mhm.
very cool, so I was a little bit busy, but I am back. I'm not using that as excuse. I got them wrong. I got them wrong. I
And
got
same.
a few right as well. I'm over 60%, but I should be over 80%, So yeah, I can't work like that, Yes. Yeah.
That's the thing. You're not
But
going to get everything right. You try to analyze as best as you can, but ultimately you go through. How do you see Mali versus Tunisia ending up here?
Mali, my goodness, Tunisia. Um, they were one of my favorites, boy. They let me down, I'm thinking a draw. I'm thinking a draw. Or anyone winning it. I will say Mali winning it, to be honest. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's just tough, man. Tunisia will have to go down to the final day to see if they can actually pull something out of the bag. It's gonna be difficult for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
period.
I am going for utter chaos. I think Mali takes it again, but I think they win this one. It's a Senegal Cameroon game, so it's Tunisia has more of the possession, but Mali's a bit more clinical, and it ends 3-1. I
All
think
right.
Tunisia gets beat here, and we start to ask ourselves what went wrong with this team. That's just my prediction. No factual. Don't ask me what about the XP and the XG generated. I haven't used that math. I'm just going by how they looked in their games. Tunisia will be up for
Yep.
this. There's no doubt. But I think Mali, they can sit back a little bit more, and maybe on that counter, that's where they're able to be more clinical. You're going to have opportunities here. I'm sorry, they're not going to have many opportunities because when Tunisia wants to, they can play defensively enough where they will frustrate you. And the question is now, if you're not going to get your 5 to 7 chances, you may get 3 to 5. Can you now be clinical there? So I'm going with Mali to further bury Tunisia and then have Tunisia scrape for that third place because what I'm rooting for right now, JD, I'm rooting for very interesting third place, first place matchups across the board. I want that
Okay.
chaos. I would like that
Well,
chaos
well,
here, so it's we're
next
clear.
round will be next round will be extremely entertaining. I'm liking it, and I had a good spirit about this competition, and so far it has
Mhm.
actually lived up to the hype. To be honest, all right, it has lived up to the hype. So
And that's
that's
always
about it
good. Yeah.
for
Yep.
today.
Yeah, that'll be up for today.
Like the amount of
We'll wrap
games.
it up
Okay,
here.
okay. So and
Yep.
then tomorrow we can rally back when we get more
Yeah.
information. All right. So
Indeed, indeed. It
that's
might be a
yeah.
late one, yeah. It might be a
Yeah,
late
it
one
doesn't matter.
tomorrow, but we'll go. Yep.
Tomorrow,
Something will
tomorrow,
be up.
uh, tomorrow is a birthday party for my wife's brother-in-law. So hopefully I
Mhm.
do reach in. When maybe I don't even get any time. If you're gonna start at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, maybe I don't even get any time. I have to just come straight online. But we are
Yeah.
committed. I am committed to
Mhm.
do these things. So hopefully I
Mhm.
can make it tomorrow. But I've made you guys aware that I am busy, busy, busy. All right. Yes.
Indeed.
So we guys smash the like button, keep on supporting the platforms once we are live and running. Just keep on supporting it. All right, so support the Africans and let we keep on building it up so we can do streams here alone and keep pushing. All right, yes, football always win. Leave the
That is true.
Jamaican gossip drama out and
We were doing so
dedicate
good.
yourself to football. Yes,
We
no, I'm
we
telling
were
them
we
that
weren't supposed
they
to
like
mention
to
it.
yes,
We
they
were
like
doing
to
so
clap
good.
themselves. Yes, especially some of the hype show with them, like the J Saguna them. As soon as any Jamaican drama go on, they have nowhere going else. They have no um resistance from Jamaican drama. Yes, and then tell me that they watch every football. Yes, but anyways, we have come to the end. You know. Yeah.
That we have. It'll be interesting when I have to transition and talk about how, Canada's women's team is playing Brazil again, like they're just friends and just secret lovers, and they have to
We
do it
believe
again.
me, believe me. By that time, the channel will be good, and we will be good. I will be here to talk about it because I'm trying to talk about every other football. You know. Yes.
Sure. All right, guys. So thank you for those of you who were here on the rewatch. Let us know again how you're feeling about teams. Let us know where we were right. Definitely let us know where we were wrong. I will take that smoke all the time. And until next time, guys, we may have a shorter recap up tomorrow. We'll definitely have something for you on Sunday. But until next time, from the Africans, this has been JD from the WeMax, and we're saying bye bye for now. Oh, that's awkward.